What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we talk about the fourth stimulus check update, the two new upcoming packages, the physical infrastructure package, which is $1.2 trillion and has a deal between the Republicans and the Democrats hanging on by a thread, and the next stimulus package, which is $3.5 trillion and has plenty of money for multiple different stimulus provisions, stimulus checks, child tax credits, Medicare expansion, pretty much everything in the kitchen sink. There is enough money in there for everything. We're going to be talking about the latest details on that and the vote coming up in this video. If you're new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below. And let's jump right in. And real quick, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is the world's leading VPN or virtual private network. A VPN is a software that creates a private channel between your device and the internet. VPNs protect you from online snooping, interference, hacking, and censorship, keeping your data and online browsing more private and secure. I especially like using ExpressVPN when I access my bank account or my investment accounts. One of the many ways information gets hacked or stolen is by using an unencrypted connection to access the internet. With ExpressVPN, your connection is secure and you don't have to worry about hackers. And the great thing is no matter where you are or what device you're using, whether it's your phone, tablet, or computer, your ExpressVPN subscription will protect you on all your devices. Find out how you can get 3 months for free of ExpressVPN by visiting the link expressvpn.com/itsjimmy or clicking the link in the description down below of this video. Okay, Canada has announced that they're going to open the border to the United States only for vaccinated Americans starting August 9th. So get this, you're going to need to be fully vaccinated for Americans, and permitted residents will be allowed to enter Canada for non-essential travel beginning August 9th, the Canadian government ministers announced Monday. The announcement marks the first step towards opening the country's border for all international tourists. Non-essential travel to Canada has been banned since March of 2020, and Canada's public safety minister announced last month that the travel restrictions across the US-Canada border would be extended until July 21st. Quote, as a first step, starting August 9th, Canada plans to begin allowing entry to American citizens and permanent residents who are currently residing in the US and have been fully vaccinated at least 14 days prior to entering Canada for non-essential travel. Yeah, so this shows a growing trend that, for in this particular example, if you want to enter the country of Canada, you must be fully vaccinated. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on that down below in the comments. We're starting to see more and more of this happen across the world. Also, the US government is telling individuals to avoid travel to the United Kingdom as COVID cases are rising across the United Kingdom, as well as in all 50 states in the United States currently right now. Also, breaking headline that Bitcoin has dropped below 30,000 for the first time in months, as well as the stocks dropped dramatically yesterday by over the Dow Jones index over 700 points as everybody's fearing another COVID, mass COVID cases, and LA County is having new mask restrictions, and everybody's kind of fearing what is happening right now. Although a new poll just came out that 66% of people approve of Biden's handling of the coronavirus, at least temporarily. You can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. There is a new court ruling. An appeals court has sided with the CDC on COVID ruling for cruise ships right now that the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, warns he'll take this legal fight possibly all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary, that he says that the CDC does not have the authority to impose that cruise ships must have any coronavirus restrictions on cruise ships at all. Meanwhile, Florida accounts for 20% of all the COVID cases in the United States right now. Yeah, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis doesn't want any restrict COVID restrictions at all on cruise ships or even really in Florida at all. As we have a lot of difference of opinions right now in the United States. As some people want to open back up, some people want to see new lockdowns or mask restrictions, and we do have rising COVID cases in all 50 states, literally every single state and globally right now. So this new Delta variant is kind of taking a toll on everybody, and it does make the vaccines less effective. They have said that the Delta variant is less effective, or that the vaccines are less effective to the Delta variant. So yeah, it's a tough one out there. Now, meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is setting up a Wednesday infrastructure showdown or a preliminary vote tomorrow. Um, yeah, and the problem with this here is that Republicans are saying they're not ready for this. It's a preliminary vote, really just to kind of set the stage. And yeah, Republicans are signaling trouble ahead of the Wednesday test votes on the infrastructure. Republicans are actually saying that, get this, Republicans are saying that the infrastructure deal has no chance of passing tomorrow, even though they have a bipartisan deal. Remember, the Republicans only need 10 Republicans to say yes in the Senate if all 50 Democrats say yes to get the 60 votes to pass the filibuster rule. As the Senate nears a pivotal test vote on the bipartisan framework, mounting Republican resistance to moving forward includes key moderates. There are several Republicans that are saying that this deal currently has no chance to pass tomorrow on Wednesday, as a lot of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is pushing for this to be done. He's saying we have waited long enough, and we can't wait anymore. The problem is that we don't have a deal, or I'm sorry, we don't have a bill. So Republicans are saying you want us to vote, but in all fairness, it is just a vote to kind of proceed. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, they're calling it a test vote. He kind of wants to test the waters to even see if there's enough votes to for this to have a chance at passing. And Republicans are saying there is no chance at this passing, but I think that that's why there's a lot of confusion in the air. Republicans are saying there's no chance of this passing because they haven't seen a bill, but Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer just wants to see if there's Republicans that are going to pass it. But Republicans are saying they're not going to pass it because they haven't seen a bill, which is another reason why the Republicans are kind of urging for a delay, because the Republicans want to see a bill. But the other problem is that they're arguing over the pay-fors. Here, check this out. After being blocked from boosting revenues through enhanced IRS enforcement being included in this bill, where they were going to give like $40 billion to the IRS, and that was supposed to produce over $100 billion in revenue, congressional Democrats are turning to reducing drug spending as a possible way to salvage their $600 billion bipartisan infrastructure deal. Negotiators are looking for billions of dollars in revenue for the infrastructure package now that Republicans have nixed the idea of bolstering the IRS, which lawmakers have suggested could bring in as much as $100 billion over a decade. One solution may be to repeal a late 2020 Trump administration rule that would radically change how prescription drugs are priced and paid for in Medicare and Medicaid. It would save an estimated $200 billion, according to sources. However, the White House wants to use this measure in the Senate budget's $3.5 trillion plan, also known as the next stimulus package. While Republicans are open to using this in the bipartisan deal, the Democrats want to use it in the next stimulus package because it's a nice source of revenue And while Republicans want to use it in the infrastructure package because it's a nice source of revenue, Democrats want to use it in the next stimulus package because it's a nice source of revenue. Talks continue on in this point. This controversial rule, which the Trump administration unveiled in November, would effectively ban prescription drug makers from providing rebates to pharmacy benefits managers and insurers. Instead, drug companies would be encouraged to pass the discounts directly to patients at the pharmacy counter. Pretty interesting. Discounts on prescription drugs. That's what we want to see. The Department of Health and Human Services said that patients may be able to save nearly 30% off their prescription drugs from this one change alone. Those with high medication costs would particularly benefit. The measure stemmed from an executive order former President Donald Trump issued last summer. And I really should add on into here these lower prescription drug prices. I really should add that in here into my handy dandy little stimulus provisions because I've talked about it a billion times on the show, but I've never really, I don't have that in all capitals, but it's no big deal. I'll fix that later because that is kind of part of this here. And we've talked about it a lot on the show, and it is kind of really a big thing here. We've talked about that a lot, basically saying I've seen a lot of your guys' comments that there's so many people out there and a lot of seniors in especially that say that they have prescription drugs that are hundreds and hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars, that they can't afford, and they can't even buy them. They're just too much money. And I think that as part of this Medicare expansion, this is something that they're going to try to change in this next package. And as you've seen there, they're kind of discussing the pay for it because as actually as part of this Medicare expansion, by lowering the prescription drugs, it actually saves the government money. This one little change that they're talking about is anywhere from saving $100 billion to $200 billion. They say that this whole Medicare expansion thing can actually be paid for by these prescription drug price changes by forcing pharmaceutical companies to sell the prescription drugs to the same prices that they sell them to other countries for, to sell them to the US for the same prices. They can't sell them to the US for any more money than they sell them to Canada or Australia or any other countries, right? That's what they do. They sell them to the US for way more money. That can save the US like $600 billion every single year, okay? The Democrats and the Republicans are kind of negotiating right now over where they want to use that savings, in part one or in part two, because again, both of these packages, they're saying they're paid for, okay? This is a kind of way to say they're paid for because it's going to save the government $100 to $200 billion just with that one plan. But kind of a side effect of this is that Americans are also going to save money when they go to pay lower prescription drug prices. So when you go to pay for medicine, insulin, inhalers, blood pressure medicine, any type of prescription drug that you might pay for, the result might be, and they mentioned in that article that you might pay just by this one change alone, that you could get up to 30% lower prescription drug prices. Okay, and that's just by the rebate portion of it. Another portion of this can also be the forcing of the pharmaceutical prices. So if they sell the same, say they sell insulin to Canada for like $9 a vial. Bernie Sanders has this famous tweet that we showed here on the channel. They sell insulin to Canada for $9 and they sell it to the US government for $90. And the reason they do that is because they're allowed to. Okay, well, the government is trying to shut that down. They're trying to stop that. So, and really, thus, that flows into Americans, right? It's not just the government that buys insulin or any other prescription drug. It's the American consumer, right? And they're really gouging us, right? They're gouging the government and they're gouging us. So really, we're going to hopefully and give credit where credit is due. A lot of this former President Donald Trump tried to do, and then President Biden kind of came in and repealed his executive order with Biden's repealing of it, and then they're trying to enact it, and former President Trump's executive order really didn't kind of go through. It's a whole jumble there. You can kind of look into that. We could probably do it a whole show on that, which I'm not going to do. But regardless, is that it doesn't really matter who gets credit for it. You might think differently. What really matters is that we get lower prescription drug prices for the people. Okay, so ultimately we need to get this one way or another. So hopefully that gets done in this package. In addition to that, hopefully we get all these additional benefits here. Hopefully we also get this adult earned income tax credits. So I almost want to change this word here to adult income tax credit, because the Democrats have basically announced that the child tax credits are going to be extended till 2025 in the next package, the next stimulus package, but that there's also going to be an income tax credits for adults without children. And I think that this could possibly be the next stimulus check. And I think it's going to probably be for people without any income as well, because remember that this child tax credit, these monthly checks that are going out, they changed it to where you don't need any income at all. You don't need any income at all. You used to need income. You used to need income. If we go back to last year, you needed income. They changed it to where you don't need any income at all. They're probably going to do that for this as well. And that's why I think that this earned is probably going to change to adult, okay? Because they changed this to where you don't need any income. You don't need earned income. You don't need taxable income. And they're probably going to do the same thing with this. We don't really know yet because none of this stuff is in writing. There's no bill yet, okay? Even this isn't in writing. This isn't in writing. Even though this 2 years of college, they say that this is in this bill. They say this is in this bill. They say this is in this bill. The bill isn't written yet, okay? And even after they write the bill, they're probably going to change it. They did that with the second stimulus check package. They wrote the bill, and then they added in the second stimulus checks after they wrote the bill. They wrote the second stimulus check package, and then they're like, oops, we forgot to add the second stimulus check in there. How did we forget that? They're like, oh yeah, that's right. We were going to give the money to the states and cities. And then Senator Bernie Sanders and Senator Josh Hawley forced them to add the second stimulus check in there. Now, I'm getting a lot of questions about this adult income tax credit. I just have a theory that I think that because they've pretty much announced that in this next package is going to be 3 different tax credits. The extension of the child tax credits. Everybody knows what the child tax credits are at this point. They're monthly checks. Everybody knows that now, right? We all got that. Child tax credits are checks. We got it. There's also going to be child care credits. They're not going to be monthly checks, but they're going to be a tax credit on your tax return. It's still money back. It's still money off your taxes, or a refund check at the end of the day. And also a dependent care, so you can claim mom or dad if they're in a senior home or something like that. But there's also going to be a tax credit for adults. Okay, I think that could end up working out very similar. We'll have to see, to these child tax credits, but for adults. Adults. So if we see child tax credits for adults, just imagine if we seen $250 to $300 per month for low-income adults. We're not going to see them for every adult. We're not going to see them for adults that earn $75,000. Now, I'm not saying we're not going to see a stimulus check in addition, okay? Remember, the third stimulus check package had the stimulus check and the child tax credits. We had $1,400 for adults, $1,400 for children, $1,400 for adult dependents, and we had the child tax credits. I'm not saying we're not going to have that in this next package. We'll see. I think Senator Bernie Sanders is going to insist on that personally. But just imagine if we had a fourth stimulus check and we had an adult tax credit of monthly payments, also known as universal basic income. In fact, a lot of people consider these child tax credits universal basic income. They basically are. I mean, in all reality, they're universal basic income. They're also, a lot of people also call them government child support. It's kind of a funny name, but they kind of are. Okay, imagine if they did adult tax credits for low income individuals. Imagine if they did that. I don't know what the threshold would be. I don't know if it would be like below 30,000. I don't know. But imagine if they did that. If you say it can't happen, if you say they'll never do these monthly checks, you're not paying attention because they're doing monthly checks right now to 65 million people, known as these child tax credits. They're literally sending out monthly checks right now. And not only are they sending out these monthly checks to children, of course, they're going to mom and dad and grandma and grandpa. Yeah, grandmas and grandpas get these checks too. If you're a grandma or a grandpa and you're raising your child, you should claim them on a tax return. If you're footing the bill for these children and you're the one raising them, and you should claim them on the next tax return, so you get the child tax credits and you get the payments. If you're raising them, next tax return you should claim them. I mean, that's just well, I guess I shouldn't give advice like that. It's up to you. But there are grandmas and grandpas that are claiming their children or claiming their children's children and getting the tax credits. Again, it goes to the person who claims the child on the most recent tax return. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But they're saying that in this next package, possibly there could be a check, a stimulus check, and an adult tax credit. So there's a child tax credit. They're going to not only have a child tax credit, but they're going to extend it probably until 2025. So they're going to continue on these child tax credit year after year after year after year. So if you think these monthly checks can't happen, they're going to happen year after year after year after year. They're going to continue to happen for 65 million people, 65 million children. Again, they don't go to the children. They do go to the children, but they don't send checks out to 2-year-olds or 5-year-olds. They send them out to the person who claims them on a tax return. 65 million people. That's nothing to sneeze at. So if you think that they can't send out adult tax credits to 65 million people, coincidentally, there also happens to be about 65 million people on Social Security. So about 65 million people on child tax credits. There's also about 65 or 75 million people on Social Security as well. Isn't that interesting? So just imagine that. 65 or 70 million people on child tax credits. There's also about the same amount of people on Social Security. Coincidence or not, you can let me know. But the Democrats have said that there will be child tax credit extensions in this next package. There will be child care and dependent care tax credits. And there will also be an extension of the earned income tax credit, also known as the adult childless tax credit. It has a couple different names, just like the next stimulus package has a couple different names. So there will be an extension of this adult earned income tax credit or the adult tax credit in this next package. So it's in there. We're going to see what it is. I'm very excited about it. You should be too. They're going to be voting on the next bipartisan package as early as tomorrow, possibly, if the Republicans don't vote it no. If the Republicans vote no, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. Remember, we need this bill to pass. We have to get everything in motion. It's just a preliminary vote, but we got to keep moving down the road so we can get everything passed. If it's voted no, it really just means that the Democrats have to produce more information and maybe write a bill and get more documentation for the Republicans because I don't like the Democrats are kind of doing a little bit of a magic trick here. They're kind of basically saying like, "Hey, we want you to vote yes on our package, and here it is." And the Republicans are like, "Where's the package?" And then here Chuck Schumer goes, "Here it is," and they're like, "We didn't see it," and then he was like, "Here it is," and they're like, "There's no bill," and he's like, "Here it is." So yeah, the Republicans are like, we got to see a bill, and he's like, here it is. So yeah, they may have to produce a bill to pass it, but we're gonna see. We're gonna have a lot of fireworks here over the next few hours. So make sure to subscribe down below. I'll keep you up to date with everything stimulus related, everything stimulus package related, everything going on with our government, pandemic related, and hopefully we don't see pandemic 2.0 because things are kind of looking like we might be going that way too. So remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will keep you updated with everything. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. This bottom video is how you can get $50 off your internet from the most recent stimulus check package. And this video is how you can get rent assistance from the third stimulus check package as well for up to 12 months. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.